Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester, and I'm glad to hear this Monday morning, and we're in December. Can you believe how fast November has flown by? I guarantee you December is going to do the same thing, but we'll get started today. It's going to be a special edition of Panhandle Outdoors today. We have a lot of video. A lot of you folks have asked me about how was Whitney's elk hunt. And I've been telling them all it's going to be a video. Well, we finally got a video. When Walter got back home, he had to spend a lot of time catching back up with his work, and then he had to put this video together. It takes hours to do a good job on video. He did a great job with it. So it's a good hunt. You're going to really enjoy it, especially the ending. The ending of this, I promise you, is one of those you're going to call up your friends and say, I wish you'd seen the ending of that video. It's special, and it is very special. So we're going to, and you got to keep in mind, they spent, 5 days out on that trail, up in camp and all. And Whitney, y'all know Whitney, she's a little girl anyway. Of course, she'll always be my little girl, but physically and it was demanding and emotionally, and it was just a demanding trip. And you'll see as it progresses day after day, how she does and all. It's really a special video to me, one we're going to always cherish. I think you're really going to enjoy it. So sit back and relax, and we'll go ahead and roll this video of the Colorado elk hunt with Whitney and Walter. Okay?
I'm Brad Bowe from Forestville, California. Thanks for watching Panhandle Outdoors.
Bye. Have fun.
Love you.
We're about to go through the tunnel in Mobile, and it is a family ritual that every time we go through the tunnel in Mobile, Alabama, that we roll down the windows and honk the horn as loud as we can. Well, I guess there's only one loudness per horn, but we'll honk it and we'll see if anybody answers or if anybody responds in any way other than the crazy looks. Goes down. Never live west of your work, because you are always driving facing the sun when you're going to work and when you're coming home from work. Mobile, Alabama, down.
So we've made it on our elk and bear trip to Dallas, Texas, and we've been sitting in traffic for the last 5 minutes, and made me think that there's some people who enjoy living in a big city and they can put up with this lot of traffic, and there's some people that think that 2 cars stopped at a red light is a traffic jam. So which one are you?
Well, we're here in New Mexico, about 30 miles from the Colorado border, and we finally saw our first antelope. It is so awesome. I've never seen one in real life. It was really cool to see them, but for the past several hours, the terrain has been like this. It's just brown grass and some mesas and hills and maybe a few watering holes, but that's all that we've seen for a very long time. But finally, we got to see some wildlife in them. So we've seen there's about 10 antelope down there, and then there was 5 right around here, and it's really hard to see, you won't be able to, but there's 1 antelope laying right out there by himself. But they're really neat. This has been an awesome trip so far, and I can't wait to finally get out to Colorado so we can start hunting, and it's just going to be awesome. Great trip.
We were driving down the road and we looked over to our left side and we just spotted our first 2 elk. It's a mama, and it looks like our baby. It's a lot smaller. We haven't seen a buck yet, but it's a good sign we saw our first 2 on the side of the road.
tell me where we are and tell me what you do.
We are in Sargents, Colorado, right off the Continental Divide, and this place here is a local, I guess, tavern, restaurant, gift store. We have people here during the summer for biking, bicycling, dirt biking, four-wheeler riding. During the snow season, we have skiers, snowmobiling, we have snowshoeing, and during the hunting seasons, we try to fill the freezers for everybody with elk and mule deer and even mountain lions, and sometimes even bear.
Wow, sounds awesome.
We're the Ladders from Grand Rapids, Minnesota, and you're watching Panhandle Outdoors.
Right now we're at the trailhead for Canna Creek, and you can hear the creek rushing down there. We're not very far. But up behind me is the Grand Mesa National Forest, and that's where we're going to be hunting. We'll be up in the foothills of the mesa, and our guide is hoping that the snow up on the top of the mountain, he's hoping that it's pushing elk down towards us, so maybe we'll be camping out right by some elk. So we're going to get a good shot at a great elk this trip, and I just can't wait. It's finally here, and I'm very happy.
Well, here we are, starting our 6-mile ride. I'm on a white horse and don't really know his name, but he's doing a pretty good job taking us up the hill. You see Whitney back there behind me. It's going to be the start of a great trip. Weather is perfect right now, but we'll see how it ends up being up on top of the hills up here. And dear Lord, I pray for a safe trip and a fun trip and a successful trip in whatever you deem to be successful. I thank you for the beauty of all of this. Just every minute detail you're aware of, you care for it, and you care for us. And I'm thankful for the opportunity to be here, for the people that we're with, and want to honor you with everything that we say and do. Amen.
We finally made it. It was a 2.5, probably 3, since we had some trouble with a couple mules, but about a 3-hour trip, all uphill, half of it in the snow, the rest of it in mud. But I shouldn't be talking. I mean, the horses should. They had to go through most of it, and I could tell they were getting tired, but we finally made it. We've got tents over there. Our horses are going to be lined up here. We're going to start hunting in the morning, and from then on out, we'll be hunting.
Come here, Sam. Sam.
This is my guide, Mr. Dan Harrison. So, Mr. Dan, tell me what we're going to be doing today.
Right now, we're trying to get to the elk. They're coming from their feeding grounds to their bedding grounds, so we're going to do a slow spot and stalk. And we're trying to catch them before they get into the dark timber, and we'll hopefully be successful at it this morning.
All right.
We shall see.
Thank you.
I found 3 groups of elk over here that we're trying to see what elevation they are. The elk are on the other side are real high, so tonight we're going to work higher and try to get up to where the elk, we're at the same elevation as the elk are on the other side.
Boy, after this morning's hunt, I sure needed a little bit of rest and to get my clothes to dry out. I was overdressed. I was sweating and had to really dress down, but it was a good learning lesson for the first hunt. We were able to see 6 elk way across the canyon, all of those cows, and then later on we saw 1 bull and 1 cow. We also stumbled upon some very large bear tracks. So Whitney has an elk tag for a bull and a bear tag, so we're hoping we can fill both of those in the next 5 days.
You're saying that these tracks were a lone bull elk,
and he's going uphill, which means he'll eventually have to come downhill. So we'll be waiting for him. These tracks are from about last night, so it's pretty good.
Today, I learned an important lesson. Some water bladders that you put in your bag to carry around to drink from, they can leak. And I put it on my sleeping bag, and it leaked everywhere. Luckily, it was towards the bottom, so if I curl up, I'll stay warm, but it can be life-threatening in below 0 degree situations whenever you're trying to sleep in a sleeping bag in a soaking wet. So I learned a lesson the hard way, but I know that I won't do it again. But I'm really excited. Day 2, hunt 4, so stay tuned.
Alright, we're at our hunting spot on day 2, hunt 4. And you can see this place is really sheltered from the wind. We've got a lot of trees and bushes. And it's also by a watering hole. So that's 2 things that the elk would be looking for right now in this cold weather. So I think we got it.
Day 3, hunt number 5. It is about 8 degrees. Everything is frozen over. The trails that were muddy yesterday are now frozen over, solid as ice. It's kind of slick. Legs and wind are getting a little better. I made it up this hill a lot better than I did in the previous 2 days. We're going to try and go higher than we have any of the prior 2 days. Dan still thinks that the elk are high. So we're going from about 8,400 up to about 9,500. The rim of the Grand Mesa is at 10,000. So we're hoping to get into where the elk are and have some success. We've got an elk tag and a bear tag for Whitney, and I have an elk tag. Both of our elk tags are for bulls. I had a dream last night that 3 bull elks walked up on Whitney, and she shot the biggest one. So we'll see if that dream comes true.
There's so much blowdown in here. You gotta stick to main trails. And this is a main game trail, cattle trail, that they figured out the best way to go. So I just follow them. And that's the best way to navigate any area. If the game knows it's a travelable route, then we can travel it. So I always stick to game trails instead of cross country. It's a lot faster. You might walk more, but it's a lot faster. And yes, I am bald, and I'm sorry. It's just, I can put a hat on.
What about the people that say stay off of game trails because you'll send them up?
I do this for a living. I spend my life out here. Very rarely do you send up a trail bad enough that a game will not use it. There is many, 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 many times that we'll come in on a trail and we'll come back on the same trail, and there's elk tracks, deer tracks, bear tracks on our footprints. That's all old wives' tale. I'm not saying that there isn't instances where they do smell you and spook, but very rare, and I don't let it bother me. I just go. I use the game trails because they're going to use the game trails too, because they want to get to point A to point B, and the game trail is the fastest way. I've been guiding and outfitting for 20 years. I've taken over 300 kids on their first elk hunts. I'd say out of about 15% of all the kids, they won't go elk hunting again. And that's the biggest thing about all these video games. An average kid can go home with their PlayStation and kill 50 to 100 people a day and never have to worry about the consequences. All they have to do is hit a reset button. Out here, when you pull the trigger on a game animal, you'll see exactly what happens. And like I said, 15% of the kids didn't like it, and not that they don't like the outdoors, they won't go back to hunting because of the consequences of pulling that trigger. The other, 85% is they love it. They'll be in it for lifelong. Mentoring kids is my passion. Without the youth, our industry that I love so much that my dad brought me into, is going to go away in their lifetime. It'll disappear if we don't get active and get these kids out here and passing on our it's not responsibilities, it's our heritage and our customs of being out here in the outdoors. It's our right to be out here and a privilege to enjoy this. This is our ground. This is government ground. This is your ground. We need to enjoy it and bring our families out here. We just found our elk, and I've called the mountain. The mountain is ours for in the morning. This is our best shot. I knew they were high, but they're really high. But it's going to take an A-walk out of the guys, but we're going to get up there and get on them. I'm excited for in the morning. This is what we needed. Hard to believe, as cold as it is, how hot you can get. I'm getting a little concerned. All the elk tracks are bailing off the hill.
I really am sorry if we don't kill anything.
Hey Whitney, turn around and tell me what you see out there.
Mountains.
What do you see?
Snow.
Think about it and tell me what you see.
Trees.
No. Look again. God created this picture for us to look at every day. This is our country, and this is why I want to be in the outdoors to enjoy it. This is His gift to us. That's why we're here.
Well, Whitney and Dan have about 2 hours left to try and get an elk in our Colorado Mountain Adventures elk hunt. We've been here 5 days. We really haven't had an opportunity, but we've glassed this area last night. We've seen elk up here. We've been here all day. We've seen the tracks heading back into the timber. We've got another guide, Jordan. He's down glassing to help us see where the elk are. So we've got everything that we possibly could have worked out in our favor to help Whitney harvest an elk. Let's see how she does.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.